Looking at number 11, there's too much going on in this picture. We need two parallel lines and a transversal. So these arrows let me know that these lines are my parallels. I get to pick my transversal. I'm going to pick this one just for fun. Look how fun that is. And by doing that choice, I have now traced the sides of angle 37. They're both traced in green. I've traced the sides of angle Y. They're both traced in green. So I'm going to ignore the 44. I'm going to ignore the X. They're not part of this. So if you look at the two angles that I am going to consider, they're on different sides of my transversal. They're inside those two parallel lines. Therefore, they are alternate interior angles, and alternate interior angles are congruent. Y would be 37 degrees for that reason. If I want to go find X, I got to switch transversals because X is not using this transversal at all. Instead, X uses this transversal. And by drawing this one in, not only am I going to trace the sides of X, I've traced the sides of the 44-degree angle. Therefore, I'm going to try and classify those two. They're on different sides of the transversal. They are inside my parallel lines. That's another set of alternate interiors. X would be congruent to 44 degrees. When I go look at part B, again, way too much in that picture. So I'm going to focus on some parallel lines. First ones I'm going to look at are these ones, the ones with the single marks. That means they're pairing together. And I need a transversal. The only line that touches both of them is this guy here. And while I poorly traced that, we can see I've traced the sides of the 94-degree angle. I've traced the sides of Q. And that's it. I didn't trace both sides of 68. I didn't trace both sides of P. I can't deal with those. So when I look at 94 and Q, they're on the same side of the transversal. But Q is between my two lines. 94 is outside. When you have one in, one out, those are corresponding angles. They're in the same relative spot. Therefore, Q is a 94-degree angle because they are congruent when they're corresponding. When I go to find P, I got to switch up the lines I'm looking at. P is formed, this is interesting. Kind of forgot how this one worked. P is related to these lines, but it actually doesn't equal it. If I look at those other parallel lines, the only ones that I am involved in now is the 68-degree angle, and that's it. I'm going to use a corresponding angle and say it corresponds with this angle right here. And if they're corresponding, sorry for all the focusing issues, if they're corresponding, that means they're equal. So this is a 68-degree angle. And by doing that, I now have a straight angle filled out. I have 94P and 68 degrees. Straight angles sum to 180 degrees. So if I add the two angles I know, I get 162, I believe, unless I can't add, which is fully possible. And when I solve that, P turns out to be 18 degrees. The last one, J, again, don't look at all that at once. Focus on what we need. We need parallel lines. We need a transversal. I got parallel lines right here. So I'm going to use line KL and line JM. And I need a transversal. Well, the only thing I'm interested in finding is X. So I'm going to use the transversal that's near X. This angle and this angle end up being on the same side of this transversal, and they're inside the parallel lines. Those are same side interior angles, therefore they're supplementary. I'm going to take their measures. Supplementary means when you add them together, you'll get 180 degrees. So I'm going to combine like terms and get... Hold on, wait for it. I should have got a calculator out. I think 90? Yeah, let's go with 90. Then I'm going to subtract the 90 over. X turns out to just be 9.